Today's content is all about Conkeldar and its ability to destroy down our opponents with that perfect coverage that it has from its charge attacks. So stay tuned till the end, because not only you're gonna see a lot of great plays, but also you're gonna see the best possible bad leads that you're gonna face on the entire Great League Remix meta, so that you can understand how to play this team to its full extent. And yes, trainers, we're gonna see a lot of those fairy types, a lot of those poisons, and perhaps a lot of those flyers. Starting off with the first flyer being kinda weak to a fighter, to be fair, especially after the steel wing buff, because right now with seals any fighter can take out this Armory, but my opponent here decided to go ahead, overcharge a lot, and sacrifice 2 shields in the process. So my team is consisted of a Conkeldar up in front, while we have a bulky backline with a leaky tank and the Toxapex in between. So we're looking pretty strong on that defense status, even though we have a classy lead, and to be fair, we got a lot of coverage from a lot of charge attacks on this team. So I really like how neutral this team can be on the entire meta, and as you can see here, my opponent will decide to try and catch one body slam on their own leaky tank, so we're looking just fine. By keeping the shield now for the end game, since we know that Skarmory has a lot of energy remaining, we're just gonna go ahead and let anything that they're gonna throw come through to our Trapex over here, because Toxapex is having the upper hand for sure against that leaky tank, and with the minimal HP that Skarmory is having, perhaps we can reach to the Deadly Brine. I'm just gonna block here whatever they throw. It is a Brave Bird, which means now that we can safely farm down, but instead they want to throw, but it cannot be anything else than a Sky Attack, so we can easily survive and still grab the first victory to start off the video. Into the next one now, and we're having a Poliwrath up against us and on its shadow form, which means here that we can always bait for a Dynamic Punch even though we do not have it, and of course throw the Brutal Swing instead, and of course they have to go ahead and shield my moves, because right after they can easily debuff me, and before we go down we can unleash one more Brutal Swing to grab that second shield out of play, otherwise that knockout was imminent. So I'm telling you, Brutal Swing alongside your Conkeldar will be the ultimate combo that you need to face off a lot of opponents. Right here now, Poliwrath has a lot of energy spared up, but to be fair, we can easily tank all those debuffing moves to our Toxapex, and we can be just fine as we are right now. Leaky Tank can go into the battle. We have our Body Slams, which can do tremendous amount of work up against the Shadow Glider, and in the process, we're gonna get hit by the RLAs. At this point, I decide to go for the Power Whip and the Knockout, but I totally miscalculated things here, and of course, they can easily survive. So RLAs now on my leaky tank, we can still go for the farm down. They have the charge back, gonna charge up to the Body Slam, switch out now to my Toxapex trying to catch a move. I don't know what I was thinking here, but perhaps I could go ahead and avoid the CMP or whatever. So at this point, we're just gonna go with the heavy hitting Sludge Wave, discharge now to destroy down our Pokemon. They're super low, they do not have an X-Scissor ready to go, and we can guarantee now the knockout with the Body Slam. Let's get that sweet victory, trainers, and we managed to get a pretty hard-earned victory. So into the next one now, and we're having that Toxapex up against us. So this Pokemon is pretty bad news for our team, especially when we're having a fighter that has no coverage against that Toxapex for sure. So at the back, we're meeting up now with that Dragonair, but after they throw the first charge attack, which is kinda deadly for us right now, because whatever they throw, they might actually take us out. Down we go to that move, and of course Dragon Breath now is gonna shred apart my fighter, so I do not want that at all. Instead, I'm gonna throw my Toxapex into play and see how well I can manipulate my opponent from here to the end. So down goes this Dragonair. I'm expecting now that final Pokemon to emerge, but it ends up being something like a Victreebel, which is pretty good for me actually. So Brian here will grab the first shield out of play. I know that I have to reach to the Sludge Wave at this point, and let's see how well we can do here, because Sludge Wave will not deal a lot of damage, and they have the upper hand with a double poison up in front and at the back. So an NBA team style, pretty weak to those Psychics, but to be fair, Psychics are not around at all. Did you see that? This is called the CMP, which means that they were afraid of my move, Down goes now my Toxapex after we throw, and we can easily farm down now. Even though we got 1 shield remaining, we can still reach to the Brutal Swing to grab their own shield out of play and the Stone Edge to guarantee the knockout against the Shadow Razor Leafer, and of course a few counters later we managed to emerge victorious after a sweaty battle. This one now is up against the Mudboy and the Swampert, so Swampert overall can finish us off with this because they can always outspeed to the charge attack. What I want to do here is to block always the first move. I want a couple of Swamperts out there, and right after we will try to catch the second move, which is on the 9th matchup, because they always need 5 for the first and 4 for the second, and by doing that we managed to bank some energy for the end game. We both are on the 1 shield scenario, and of course as you can see here we managed to get out of there that Vigoroth, which is not that great overall, but still we can easily farm down with our Toxapex. The reason I'm not bringing in there my Conkeldurr is because they can easily finish me off if I am not careful. So right here they have spent 10 of those counters that they did, so I will wait up to the point that they do 4 of those counters before they reach to the next bot slam, throw my Brine, and of course we can easily take them out. Now at the back they have the Chargeback switching out to their Swampert, and of course here we can easily take them out. All I want to do at this point is to do as much damage as possible, or even snipe them down with the Stone Edge, because a lot of trainers are not gonna expect the Stone Edge after they see your Brutal Swing. Of course my opponent here will expect it, which is kind of a big bummer, and I did not throw here because I just wanted them to finish me off with a Tech Scissor, and of course right after we have the Sludge Wave able to destroy down the remaining HP that this electric type is having. So Toxapex, an amazing bulky closer for the entire meta. A very bad lead into the next battle, and we're having a Whimsicott, which is a fairy type, up against us. So switching out now to our Lickitung, and of course we're meeting up with a fighter. So Lickitung here doesn't have the upper hand, but we can play it kinda smart, because I'm expecting them to seal the first move thinking that it might be a Power Whip, and while my second move will be the actual Power Whip for tremendous amount of damage. However, after the debuff, we are just gonna fall down miserably here, and of course they have sacrificed a shield in the process, but they are gonna take back their own shield that they sacrificed from our end, since we need to respect the damage from a potential skull from that Poliwrath. Now it all depends on what they might be having at the back, and unfortunately for me it is gonna be a Whiskas. Mudbomb here is gonna do a lot of damage. We have a couple of Brines ready to go for their end, and of course right after we're just gonna get hit by another Mudbomb. So things aren't looking that great here, but Conkeldurr hasn't spoken yet with its last word. So here comes out the Brutal Swing. Let's get now almost the knockout up against them. Unfortunately for us, this is gonna be on the CMP with the Scald, which means that a lot of damage is gonna come up along the way and towards our way, and yeah, we're gonna fall down in the end. It doesn't matter, another fairy type for the next battle. I told you we're gonna have a lot of battle leads on this video, and of course we're meeting up now with that play rough on our Lickitung. So this is kinda good, kinda promising now that we did not spend a shield and still have some energy on our Conkeldurr for the end game. You never know when you might be needing this move, and of course now we're meeting up with that Gligar, which is gonna use Aerial Ace. I knew they did not have back-to-back moves, that's why I did that one extra lick. They had 9 of those wing attacks, so that meant that I could easily get to 1 extra lick, which is kinda crucial at this point, even the 1 damage on any Pokemon. And with that in mind now, we're just gonna farm down with our Conkeldurr. They managed to block my Stone Edge once again. Are you kidding me? Do people really expect Conkeldurr to use Stone Edge on this meta? Anyways, now I'm just gonna bank that remaining energy that I have with a simple Brutal Swing for the end game, and of course right after we have the Toxapex coming into the battle. Discharge here has to be blocked, be appreciated on the damage wise option, and of course right after we have those brines to hit the Skeletons. I know they can survive one, so they're gonna take the first one while they have to respect the damage from the second. So down goes their final shield, and now this is a race to the next attack. Since they threw the Shadow Ball here, they can go ahead and finish us off, so I'm just gonna go on my switch and my Conkeldar for the brutal swing, guarantee the knockout now with a final counter, and of course since our Toxapex was alive in the end, we managed to get that sweet victory. Into the next battle now, and we're having a Mantine up against us, and this Pokemon is pretty much bad news for the entirety of our team, but it doesn't matter at all because now we can have kind of a safe loss even with our Leaky Tank, but they managed to bring the Dragonair into the fight. They also get a little bit too greedy here trying to farm me down, so I managed to get to another Body Slam and another shield was out of play, and of course as you can see here they have no shields at all. Dragonair is out of the game, and now my Conkeldar can return into the battle. With Conkeldar coming in, I have faith in my skills here because we can absolutely charge up a lot of energy in the process while we can finish them off before they reach to the next Hydro Cannon. I was getting a little bit too worried here, that's why I threw, but still we can survive the falling Aerial Ace, but the question remains with how much HP. Barely enough to reach to another Stone Edge. This is the correct answer. Massive damage on the Mantine. Let's get that very sweet victory to end this video against a very bad lead against that Mantine. So thank you for watching, trainers, and for staying till the end. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you are new to my content, and with that said I have two videos for you to check out. Feel free to check them out, and I will catch you up later into the next one.